Aloha and welcome to the heart of Kailua. I'm Cynthia Manley, President of the Kailua Chamber of Commerce and Public Relations Director for Leisure-Dan Academy. Now, before we get to our guest today, I wanted to share with you a few things that happened over the past week in Kailua. Pacific Business News held their Windward Oahu Means Business event at Mid-Pacific Country Club in Kailua. And the event sponsor on that was American Savings Bank and presenting partner, Kailua Chamber of Commerce. Mahalo to Editor-in-Chief Cam Napier, who was the moderator, and Bob Charlet for bringing the PBN Windward Oahu Means Business event to Kailua. I also wanted to thank the panelists, Lindsay Diamond, the owner of Kalapawai Market and Cafe in Kailua, Alex Harris, the Senior Program Officer for Education at the Harold K.L. Castle Foundation, and myself and John Morgan, President of Kualoa Ranch, John Moyer, Director of Asset Management, A&B Properties, and Drew Santos, Team Leader at Target Kailua. Now, some of the issues that were discussed at the Windward Oahu Breakfast Leadership Seminar were tourism, traffic, and the need for services on the windward side. Carol Paris was in the audience, and she mentioned that she would like to see a theater in Kailua for performing arts, a great idea, a shoe repair shop, and Jerry Allen mentioned the windward side is a special place because of the people who live and work there. And I think we all agree on that. Panelist John Moyer from A&B Kailua talked about the improvements that have been made to the properties in Kailua and the upcoming improvements such as the Akahi Shopping Center. Lindsay Diamond shared the news that Kalapawai Market will be opening another location on the west side of the island, and this is in addition to Kailua Market, to the Kailua Market and Delhi locations, as well as the Zia's in Kaneohe. And I found this interesting. Did you know that Kalapawai purchases their food locally, which I thought that was great, the Big Island and in Waimanalo. Alex Harris, the Senior Program Officer for Education at the Harold K.L. Castle Foundation, talked about how local business can have an impact on the public school system through mentoring and allowing students to intern, giving them valuable experiences and references for their resumes. John Morgan, president of Kualoa Ranch, shared his insight on how to manage growth and reminded the audience that Hawaii thrives thanks to our visitors. Target Kailua manager Drew Santos answered questions about the store's impact in the Kailua community, and they announced at this event that they're joining the Kailua Chamber of Commerce. And that's a big move for Target as a retail chain. This partnership between the national retailer and Kailua Chamber will enable smaller retailers to share their thoughts with Target management at chamber events and hopefully shape the future of creating success in Kailua for all businesses. Now, a quick update on local businesses on the windward side. Windward Ford in Kailua is under new management. And also you can receive a list of restaurants in the Kailua area all on one piece of paper, and that's at the Kailua Information Center and online at the Kailua Chamber of Commerce website, kailuachamber.org. To see the featured member as well, check out the website and find out about the upcoming Independence Day Parade on July 4th. That's a Saturday this year. Leisure-Dan Academy is a chamber member as well, and we have a new incoming head of school who arrives in July. DJ Condon is his name, coming from Japan. And summer school starts this week, June 17th at the school. Extended day is available throughout the summer. You can contact the school for more information at 261-0707. And Leisure-Dan Academy is a fully accredited International Baccalaureate World School located in Kailua, just off the Pali. With over 800 students from PK through 12th grade, the school is an excellent example of what collaboration can achieve. And we have a wonderful group of parents there, board of trustees, and the school is just seeing a tremendous growth with faculty trained in the International Baccalaureate program. And this upcoming year, the theme is to imagine what we can achieve together, working together, and to provide students with a foundation to inspire the world. Now, speaking of inspiring people and organizations, the Kailua Hawaiian Civic Club has partnered with Leisure-Dan Academy through the generous support from A&B Kailua to bring a series of cultural presentations to the windward side of the island. Now, here to share with us about the journey is former state senator, active community member, 30-year Kailua resident, and current president of the Kailua Hawaiian Civic Club. Please help me welcome Pohai Ryan. Welcome.
Aloha, Cynthia. Glad to be here.
Thank you for coming to the show today. So share with us a little bit about, you have a wonderful and inspiring background, all the different things you've done in the community. Can you share a little bit about your background and also about the Hawaiian Civic Club?
Well, one thing I absolutely want to share today is that I was a former employee of the Kailua Chamber of Commerce.
That's right.
And opened the first visitor information center in Kailua, and I thoroughly enjoyed that job. But like all things, I had to move on, met a lot of people, and gained a new appreciation for the small businesses, mostly family-owned in Kailua, and their commitment to the community, as well as understanding the visitors that come to Kailua and why. It was a very enriching experience working there.
And who was president when you were?
I went through several presidents at the time, 4-year term. Molly Mosier Cates was one of the presidents, Larry Lanning, David Earls. We really developed the center, and I see that it's still thriving, and I want to give a shout out to Erin as well. And you're doing a great job, Cynthia. You really are. The event last week was very successful. It was very impressive, and it was
a fantastic event,
meaningful panel, very good for Kailua. And it's always good to get factual information straight from the people instead of through the rumor mill.
That's true.
Which can happen.
So let's get back to the Civic Club and what you do with that organization, and share with our audience what the organization does.
Well, Kailua Hawaiian Civic Club was chartered in 1958, chartered in 1960, but founded in 1958. We are a legal tax-exempt organization with a 501c3 status as afforded through the IRS. We are a membership-based organization. And our mission is basically to always educate and promote Hawaiian culture, as well as Malama for the Aina in Kailua, which is conservation and taking care of the area, and civic engagement, representing what's best for Hawaii through policies, through government, whether it's at the county level or just at the neighborhood board level or state or federal. When the Hawaiian Civic Clubs was formed by our beloved Prince, Jonah Kuhio Kalaniana Ole, he was a delegate to Congress at the time, came home, back home for a visit, and stood on the corner of 4th Street and King Street and realized Hawaii was changing rapidly. One thing about Prince Kuhio, he was known as the People's Prince, and there's good reasons for that. And he was sad and yet not sad. He saw Hawaii progressing. He wanted our people to be prepared. He organized a group of civic leaders at the time to make sure that there is bipartisan representation in the civic club system, and created the civic club. Until this day, we have very active movers and shakers throughout all the civic club system that participate in Hawaii's government, which is one of the key objectives that he had, and he'd be proud to see that it's still happening. Our club alone at the last convention was able to pass a resolution that supports the Native Hawaiian organizations that have a vision to do their kuleana or work or responsibility around Kauai Nui wetlands. And it varies, and it comes with great care, obviously, and culturally based. The Kailua Hawaiian Civic Club is a co-curator organization to Ulupo Heiau, which is a state park. And we are right now in transition, trying to bring aboard new leadership. I'd like to also acknowledge Dr. Chuck Boros, who has been very instrumental in keeping Ulupo a focus for our club as well, and for the community.
He was very active in helping educate students as well.
He is.
We've taken students for different
yes, Leisure Dan
educational events there.
Yes, and he has a great knowledge of the ethnobotanical systems within the Ulupo Heiau itself and the history. We now have a young person who will work through actually under the tutelage of Mapuana de Silva and Kihe de Silva, who will be the future carrying it forward as a practitioner, taking care, documenting the cultural history of Ulupohea. His name is Kailua Wong, who is actually a master navigator in training right now at Hokulea. We're very proud of him.
Terrific.
Yes, and he's a researcher as well. He researches Hawaiian language newspapers of the day and interprets them. He's a former employee of the National Forest system out in Makua Valley. Very promising young person. It's exciting to see that kind of leadership develop. Mm-hmm. And I know he will go far.
Oh, terrific. How many members are in the Civic Club?
Right now, it's varied. It's been as big as 600. Right now, we have approximately about 130 members. It fluctuates. You know, today, all organizations, nonprofit, volunteer-based organizations are competing with a lot of other interests and distractions. Mm-hmm. And Kailua people are quite busy, which is really a good thing and a kind of a bad thing for the Civic Club, but there's a wealth of knowledge and skill set that we can draw upon that's very exciting for our Civic Club.
Now, is that the 600 members, is that only in the Kailua Hawaiian Civic
The
Club?
previous 600 members, my understanding, historically was predominantly made up of the canoe club system when they all decided to join, which obviously is a cultural practice that we would support should they need our support, but it's going very strong on the windward side. Yeah, it was made up of a lot of families, and I'm hoping that we bring back a lot of the root families to come and do their share for Kailua through the Civic Club. I myself have only been a resident for 30 years. My children were raised in this Ahapoa, but I feel strongly that the root families that have genealogical ties to the area are more than welcome to come back and give their kuleana and their mana'o.
How important is it to Hawaii for our keiki to learn about the culture and the history of Hawaii?
You know, I did attend Kamehameha School, but I have to say a lot of my Hawaiian cultural background really came from my elementary school, which was public school in Molokai. I think it's very important that everyone learns about our culture and to not only build understanding, but it is one of the things that makes Hawaii very unique, as well as the melting pot and the richness of all the multitudes of beautiful cultures that are here as well. But I sat in a community meeting once, and somebody stood up and said, well, when I go to China, I want to learn about Chinese, and I want Chinese people to teach me about China. So I'm assuming this is a quote from the person in the meeting. When people come to visit Hawaii, they want to learn about Hawaiians and the Hawaiian culture first, then the rest of the history, which I thought was, I agree with that, and it is a moving force, and you naturally become curious about everything else that happened to Hawaii, the Chinese immigration, the Philippine immigration, the Korean immigration. Myself, my father was from Michigan originally, so I'm a mixed product, I guess you could say, hapa haole.
Interesting. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. We're talking with Pohai Ryan about the Hawaiian Civic Club, and we'll talk a little bit about Kailua as well, and some of the growth that Pohai has seen, and some of her thoughts when we come back.
Aloha, I'm Hunter Hevlin, host of Sustainable Hawaii here at ThinkTech Hawaii. You can tune in every week on Thursday at 2 p.m. to see interviews with sustainability professionals from around the state and even further abroad, learning about activities with water management, food security, waste management, and a whole host of other fascinating opportunities to get engaged with making a greener island. So if you're interested in making the transition from consuming individuals to communities of producers, check us out every Thursday. Aloha.
Aloha, my name is Josh Green. I host a show called Healthcare in Hawaii here on ThinkTech. We get together once a week or sometimes twice a month. Depends when we're busy. We get together less often, but we love to see you here to talk about the preeminent healthcare issues in our state. Our programs vary very widely. We talk about economics, we talk about healthcare, we talk about social issues on this program. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome back to the Heart of Kailua. I'm Cynthia Manley. We're talking with Pohai Ryan, president of the Hawaiian Civic Club. And Pohai, thank you again for coming to the show today.
Thank you.
And share with me some of the things that are coming up on the windward side. We've already seen one of the workshops, and maybe you could share with our audience a little bit about the workshops and how they came about.
Okay, the cultural education workshops, the series that we're co-hosting along with Leisure Down Academy, came about when I became president in the club. I had realized that at some community meetings, some of the Hawaiian terms were being incorrectly applied, and by no fault of the persons who were using it, I felt that as part of the Civic Club, it is our duty to not only educate others, but ourselves about culture. I had a conversation with Kimo Steinwasser from ENV Kailua, and he said, submit a request, because we just needed small support funding. Really, it's to feed the audience was what it was for, and that helps keep the audience there for that period. And we got the funding, and we created a series. Our first series started last month, which was a presentation by Kihi De Silva.
And it was well attended.
Well attended, standing room only, and we're going to move it to the bigger building.
To the Wong Auditorium.
Yes, thank you very much. And we expect a bigger crowd. Last month was about Hi'iaka's journeys through Kailua, the legends of Hi'iaka and stories. This month will be Wahipana o Kailua, which is storied places within Kailua and how place names came about, which is quite fascinating all over Hawaii when you hear how place names were developed over time. In the future, we will be having workshops that focus on lo'i or taro cultivation. Hopefully we'll have food sampling or aipono with that, as well as ahapua management, systems management, Hawaiian tattoo, Hawaiian kahili art. So there'll be various subjects, and they'll be very interesting and enriching to anyone that attends. And it's open to the public, anyone, not just Kailua people, but anyone.
So anyone can attend. Do they need to
Yes.
register?
No, they don't. They just
Just
need
show
to
up.
come. We try our best to have enough food there. Yes, and the Leisure Down Academy campus is quite beautiful for those of you who have never been there. And I had a lot of comments actually at the last presentation. The view of Olamani is just stunning up there. They're truly blessed to have that campus there as well. But we invite the public. I'm very excited about it. Kihi does a wonderful job. Unfortunately, it was so crowded, I wasn't able to be in the room to hear the presentation, but guests first.
I heard good things. I heard really good things. I also had another event and was not able to attend, but I saw the pictures that you sent me. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I just heard it was, in the community.
Yeah.
And they said, wow, it was very informative and interesting, and it's free.
Yeah, and it really is, and it's good to know about the place you live, the people around you. It's just a fascinating subject matter as well.
What was your feel from what audience members said after that first event?
Oh, they thoroughly enjoyed it. The one criticism we had, though, is we need to get the word out more, which we tried our very best. I mean, we had full coverage in midweek. Of course, PR costs money, so we go through social media. And we're pretty confident that it'll be okay again, because the people that attended plan to bring other people. So if that's the case, we will have a pretty good crowd.
So students from any school can come in and learn.
Yes.
And what would you say the messages are geared toward? What age, what demographic?
It's really broad. We do request that our presenters obviously make it audience friendly. But the biggest thing I hope that comes out of it, should youth attend, is that it inspires them to research more. Anyone actually that comes, get more curious about the subject matter. Like, oh, I wonder where else Hi'iaka went on the windward side, or where in Hi'iaka did she settle within Kauai, which itself has beautiful legends and mythology.
And so these are some of the topics that are covered in the presentation.
Yes, and Kihei, I personally consider him as one of probably the most well-read, researched, and notable historian of Kailua, ancient Kailua. He and Mapuana, they study, I mean, it just fascinates me that he can name all the winds and the rains. And a lot of that comes from a combination of the oli, the hula, the mele, as well as the mo'olelo or storytelling, which obviously our people were storytellers or orators until writing was introduced. But I think that it will be beneficial to anybody that attends, and really it's quite exciting. And I want to encourage people such as educators in the area to come and learn, as well as realtors in the area.
Great idea.
Because you have a new appreciation for where you live. And it gives you a different perspective and a different value, I think, of where you are.
So open to students and teachers from all schools. And the next presentation is what date?
It's June 25th at Leisure Dan Academy, and it is Wahipana o Kailua by Kihi de Silva. Next month, we are planning on a presentation with Hokulea and Navigating. Everything's not quite confirmed yet, but we're very excited about that.
So we're going to have the workshops on the last Thursday of the month?
Yes, that's how the series will run.
Terrific.
We will have a couple months where we may have 2 workshops. We just haven't identified what months yet. It takes a lot of logistical coordination to get the speakers there. And our whole board, most of us work. So we're trying to work around all of this and contacting people. But it's very inspiring to me, and I enjoy it very much. And I really hope my club will continue to do these series long after I'm no longer president, because I feel that it is a good thing for us to provide the community.
When does your term end?
My term ends at the end of this year, and I'm excited for a younger person. Hopefully my first vice president will embrace the position. It can be very hard work and can keep you very busy. But it's a beautiful thing to watch young leadership develop, just like Prince Kuhio had intended. And I want to mention Kalani Ka'anana, our first vice president, who is a a descendant of this Aina in Kailua. And I've seen him grow so much in the last year, and I'm very excited when he takes over, and new energy is badly needed. So.
Well, you've been doing a wonderful job, so I'm sure they will miss you. And so tell me a little bit more about the workshops. We know the date and the location. What can we expect from this next workshop in June?
Okay, Kihi's plan is to share about story places, place names in Kailua. One of the things in my day job, my paid job, I'm the executive director of the Native Hawaiian Hospitality Association, and I attend meetings and do business statewide. One of the criticisms I've heard from the Hawaiian community is that our place names are not being applied correctly, and that names are actually unintentionally being changed just for a lack of not using the proper name.
Do you have an example?
Well, the example that I can think of off my head was at a meeting in the North Shore, and a kupuna, or elder, expressed to me her dissatisfaction with the use of the term alligator rock. I don't even know where Alligator Rock is. Apparently it's a surf point on the North Shore. She said it's a beautiful surfing spot, but it is not Alligator Rock. And she said, we need to be educating and using it ourselves if we expect others to use the proper name. And it made sense.
What is the proper name?
I couldn't tell you off my head, but that's a good example. I mean, there's no alligators in Hawaii.
Yeah, I've not heard of that either. So.
Yeah. So, but it is a good example. I guess Kaho'ao is Lanikai. That's the correct place name for it. And I'm sure he's going to talk about that. So that's, if you attend, you'll learn what the proper name for Lanikai is.
So say it again. What is it?
Kaho'ao. And my understanding is that Lanikai is actually a misnomer that Mr. Castle meant to name it Kailani. So I don't know the whole story about that when it was developed, but that's the story.
So is that some of the things that we hear at the next workshop? Oh,
yes,
that's fun.
yes.
That's fun to learn.
It is fun to learn. Just understanding why different places throughout Kailua are named a certain way. It's quite fascinating, actually.
Yeah.
There's always a reason to it.
All right, speaking of Kailua, I want to find out a little bit from you, because it's the hot topic, always talking about Kailua in the community. And Friday, in fact, at the PBN, you were there at the Breakfast Leadership Seminar. That was one of the issues, a few of the issues that came up were hotels in Kailua and traffic in Kailua. What changes have you seen? You've lived in Kailua for 30 years, you said.
What amazes me is that a lot of people don't realize that Kailua once had a hotel, a thriving hotel, which was where Pinky's is located in Polly Palms. Polly Palms was the name of it, and it was a two-story structure, but it wasn't small. It served a really good purpose. You know, we have a big military community within Kailua, and it served that, as well as visitors who come to Kailua. It's amazing how it turned into the meetings about a hotel, which I thought was quite fascinating. I never thought that the presentation would be about that, but I'm sure people are curious. There tends to be the danger of social media sometimes is incorrect information can spread really fast. And then it's good that you have a presentation where the factual information is revealed.
The panelists did a great job.
They did.
Yeah.
And I think those of us who live on Oahu, we don't appreciate, obviously, because it's so crowded. It can get very crowded here, traffic-wise, and just density. And we get visitor fatigue, I think is a term I've heard in the industry. But when you travel to the neighbor islands, they are very dependent on tourism and visitors. We thought that there would be nothing. It truly is our #1 industry, and it doesn't even need to be promoted because Hawaii is quite beautiful. I mean,
Yeah, it is. It's gorgeous.
and Kailua having one of the most prettiest beaches, you don't have to advertise that either. Any community with a beautiful beach, you're going to draw people naturally, unintentionally or whatever. It's always about balance. And that's what it comes down to. And I do want to recognize Target for as much as they were opposed by some people in Kailua. I think they've done a fantastic job aesthetically.
They have.
And most people don't know that they have planted a lot of trees and took great care with that parking lot and how they
The angle of the
constructed
parking
it.
lot.
They, yes, the material they use is earth-friendly. I learned all of this in my previous work. Because when people were going up in arms, I asked to meet with the GM from Minnesota, and they showed me the design, and I thought they went through great lengths to try and satisfy at least the aesthetics of it. They also are spending a lot of money improving that road. I don't know if you know that.
Right, the sidewalk over there.
I actually think it is more organized traffic, and there is much more foot traffic, but it's much more organized as well. I personally go to Target a lot. I do also want to acknowledge that they do a lot in Waimanalo that's unpublicized, which I was very impressed with. I happened to accidentally stumble upon their project that they do once a week, and was quite impressed that they don't publicize it. That was amazing to me, because obviously they don't have to do it. They're doing it on their own. And obviously the library makeover they did, which was badly needed. And you know, as well as Alexander and Baldwin as a new landlord, they are trying to make the experience enriching. We do have to understand that they are in the business of commercial property management, and that is their business. And which I'm glad that the chamber offers voices where people can share their differing opinions on that matter. But Kailua is growing maybe too fast for some people. I tend to want to walk more now. I park at Longs and walk all the way across the street. I just love it. It's flat. I guess a lot of people don't want to do that, but I think it's better. I think the layout is better. Whole Foods actually, to me, has brought the most traffic to Kailua. Only because people enjoy Whole Foods, I guess. I go in there once in a while, but it's all about choice as consumers as well.
That's true. That's true. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and talk more about Kailua. I'm Cynthia Manley with the Heart of Kailua, and we're talking to Pohai Ryan. And stay with us, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Whole Foods and Target in Kailua. Don't go away.
To Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy on Wednesday. And we have Sharon Moriwaki, my co-host and co-chair of the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum, and we have Warren Bollmeyer today, a special guest with the Hawaii Renewable Energy Alliance, and also a member of the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum.
In fact, he's our Renewable Energy Working Group Chair. So
He is.
takes care of all of our.
You ought to see him in song and dance, too. He does the musical part of the show. Sharon is more serious than that, but not much more serious. So anyway, what do you think of this show? I mean, is this good?
I think this is good. We hope it's good. We hope it attracts a lot more people than our forum, so that people can see what's going on in energy and clean energy, and call in, write in, tweet
Yeah, we
or
want
Twitter.
that. We want public engagement, civic engagement from everybody, because that's the only way we're going to get down the road on this, right, Warren?
Yeah, I think so, and it's an opportunity for guys like me to share a little bit of their manao and sometimes get the facts right. Who was that guy that said, just give me the facts, you know, start with the facts and then work from there? Oh, it was Dragnet guy, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Jack
That was when I was
Jack
just
Man.
I was just in
I
grade
would all
school then. I
remember
barely
that.
remember that.
Yeah.
Just the facts,
Just the
man.
man.
Here on Hawaii, the state of clean energy, every Wednesday from 4 to 5. You'll see. Come back soon. Right, Sharon?
Right.
Warren?
Yes.
Welcome back to the Heart of Kailua. I'm Cynthia Manley. Today we're talking with Pohai Ryan, President of the Hawaiian Civic Club. So thank you so much again for coming on the show today. And we've talked about the Civic Club and the importance of the Civic Club and the Kailua Hawaiian Civic Club membership there, and also about the growth that you have seen in the community and some of your thoughts over the last several years. What is your experience with the traffic in Kailua?
It can get very heavy at times, especially when there's construction on the road. That doesn't help. Originally, when I served with the chamber in the information center in the shopping center, I was told by the representatives of the city that it's designed to not use the Kailua Road as a pass-through. It's just meant to get to places, and it's meant to encourage people to go around. It is quite busy, but at the same time, it is progress, and hopefully people will remember the Hawaiian cultural value of ho'okipa, which is hospitality. Because I know when I travel, I want to be treated really good, and hopefully we'll keep remembering that. And we can't always tell who's a resident and who's not. We can't always tell that.
And it's what we're demonstrating to our next generation as well.
Yes, exactly. But I do want to encourage people to pay attention, and Kailua usually does. I'm not worried about that, and they will have their say. I think that criticism keeps a balance as well, keeps us paying attention to what is healthy for Kailua.
Checks and balances kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Do you think educating our visitors on some of the laws and some, and I'm particularly talking about perhaps bicycles, that type of thing?
Yes, actually, previously under Ms. Dolier, I did make a suggestion that they have social norms printed in Japanese on cards for when they do bring those buses in and they hand it out. Something as simple as, please use the crosswalk. Yet I see a lot of residents not using the crosswalk as well. And I make it a point, no, we gotta use the crosswalk. And I always stop, no matter where the people, I wait till they completely cross over.
Because that's difficult. If you live in a country where
different.
the bicycle has the right of way or pedestrians have right of way, and then you act the same way when you
they
visit
can't help
somewhere.
it. It's a cultural difference.
So it's just education.
Definitely. I think that Hawaii, Kailua has prepared itself or adjusted itself to try and accommodate that. But it is quite busy. I've seen immense growth. And a lot of walkers. There's a lot of walkers. And they find their way to the beach, which is fascinating to me. They get dropped off in Kailua and find their way. But just so that the residents be aware, and please give pedestrians right away. As much of a rush because we're all in this together, God knows.
I think Kailua is just one of the most special places
It is.
I love living there, working there. My kids go to school there. We shop there.
It's the biggest small town on Oahu, it really is.
That's a
Everybody
good
knows
way of putting it,
everybody,
yeah.
and then at the same time, when you tell people you live in Kailua, they think it's pretty special too.
Right.
Obviously, the president of the free world visits us, so it must be really special.
Well, and as Jerry Allen, Bev Allen's husband, and I have to give a shout out to Bev and Jerry Allen because Bev taught at Leisure Academy.
Oh.
She taught music for, I think, over 35 years.
Oh, really?
And her husband stood up at the PBN event on Friday, and he said, windward Oahu means people. And I love that. That is
Yes.
true. That's a very nice message.
Yeah,
So it's
all
about the people.
adjusting, tolerating, aloha and ho'okipa again, yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, change is inevitable, it really is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, and are you participating in the upcoming Independence Day Parade?
Actually, I'm not,
Oh.
but I want to encourage everyone else to, because it's a really fun event that our family always attended. I'm actually going to be off island this year on Kauai at their independence event.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice.
My sister-in-law manages the fireworks and Nihoe program, so for Hospice
Mhm.
Kauai. It's their annual fundraiser. But that is thoroughly a very community quirky event, and you go down Kainalu Drive and every house is barbecuing that day. It's just awesome.
They love it. They come out. I think there's thousands and thousands
Yeah.
of people line the streets.
Yeah.
And we had, I think last year, 120 entrants.
That's what people don't realize, because I know when I had to coordinate the parade, there were 110 entries. So people don't realize how big that parade is. It's pretty big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's pretty big and pretty fun.
it is. So in closing today, what message would you like to share with our audience?
Well, I'd like to say, please, if you have interest in becoming a member of Kailua Hawaiian Civic Club, we do have a website, www.kailuahawaiiancivicclub.org, and we do have a membership form on there. Or attend our cultural presentation this month on the 25th at Leisure Academy at 6 in the evening, and learn about the storied places and main places in Kailua and much more. And have a great Kailua kind of a day.
That's a great message. And before we leave today, I did want to talk to you a little bit about your overall thoughts, just for Hawaii in general, and relationships that we're building with what we call the mainland.
I think it's crucial that we not isolate ourselves too much. We are a beautiful place.
And what do you mean by that? Can you expand on that, isolating ourselves?
While we emphasize who we are and our history is, we also have to embrace those that are different and broader views. Which, like Prince Kuvio, that's what he wanted for his people, to be more educated, culturally enriched, and always preserve that for Hawaii and Hawaii's people. And always having that aloha spirit and teaching the aloha spirit. We can't assume everyone knows it. And really, to teach the aloha spirit, you have to live it. It's really living it.
And what is living the aloha spirit?
Compassionate, tolerance, patience. Sometimes it's difficult in a modern Hawaii, being that it can get crowded. Work can be stressful. I guess putting things in perspective, but also appreciating those that are not in Hawaii, and just enjoying who we are, where we are, embracing that, and making sure others feel the same way when they come here.
And what do you see that maybe next for Kailua?
Oh, that's a big question. I think that Kailua is actually very well planned, to be honest with you, in comparison to other cities. I do want to see a little more representation of Hawaiian history in the form of art, public art, whether it's sculptures or recognition by plaques,
Or maybe,
or
as Carol
series.
Paris said, a theater.
I
for
think that's an
performing arts.
awesome idea. If you've ever seen Ula Lena in Lahaina, I mean, you could do something similar
Right.
here. It's quite beautiful, the
Mhm.
production. And just making sure the school children in the area are educated about the history in Kailua. I think that's key, because they go home and share it with their families. Whether they're here just for a military tour, wherever they go around the world, they'll always remember what they learned about Kailua.
Their experience in
Yes.
Kailua and meeting people and what the overall vibe in the community is. Yeah.
Yes. So, because only the people can generate that sense of belongingness and whole people. Only we can do that. So hopefully everybody will remember to do that.
That's true, that's true. And coming up, Independence Day, 4th of July parade. And this year that's on a Saturday, which is terrific. So
Yeah.
we look forward to that. That starts at 10 a.m. and to 12 noon. And that is from Kainalu Elementary and ends at a little past the fire station.
And where do we get those shirts, Cynthia?
The Information Center in Kailua, you can purchase your Independence Day shirt, and I think they're only $10, which is a great price. And this year they're red. They have a really cool design on them, and I think I'm going to be wearing mine, so I'll support it as well. I love the event. I'll be riding in it this year, so that's fun. And I wanted to thank you so much for joining us today. And
you.
can you give out your website again, please?
www.KailuaHawaiianCivicClub.org.
Okay, terrific. And again, attending the events for the presentation, the cultural presentations are no charge.
Yes.
Everyone is welcome.
June 25th at Major Dan Academy Wong Auditorium, 6 o'clock.
Okay,
Come on by.
terrific.
Light dinner served.
Terrific. Thank you, Pohai.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
All right, and I wanted to share this quote with you today, and that's whether a visitor or kama'aina, the beauty of the Hawaiian Islands inspires the heart and mind. I'm Cynthia Manley with the Heart of Kailua. Thank you for watching, and thank you to Pohai Ryan. Aloha.